we always talk about A-10s and CAS, A-10s and CAS. And like a lot of people do CAS and no one does CAS as well as the A-10. But the one thing that no one else does is the Sandy mission that we don't have a fix. We don't have another platform. Like everybody else is like, well, we can kind of part task, like we'll make CAS work. But nobody is like, hey, we're going to make Sandy work. And so Satan, like,
don't get shot down.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Well, maybe Bender doesn't have to worry. But
questions.
So Satan, can you kind of, just for people who don't understand what the Sandy mission is, and then can you kind of talk to how the A-10 fills it, and then who could theoretically pick that up?
Yeah, so the Sandy mission is kind of shorthand. It's the call sign that the flying call sign that A-10s use when you're doing combat search and rescue mission. So somebody gets shot down behind enemy lines, you got to go out, you got to find them, you got to protect them, and you got to protect the rescue vehicle assets, usually a HH-60 helicopter or an MV-22 or something like that. So you got to fight your way in, find the guy, fight your way in, protect them long enough to pick up the person, and then get out of it. And so the A-10 community is really the only Air Force asset that is rescue mission commander certified. Like we have an official training program for it. It's, the Sandy 1 upgrade is difficult. I went through the Sandy 1 upgrade 8 years ago or so. Very challenging. Got some funny. One of the best debriefs ever was one of my Sandy 1 upgrade debriefs. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, maybe if we got time. But yeah, so we're the only guys that do that, and there really isn't another platform that is out there that is really well equipped to do it, because we have all the different radios on board the jet that can interrogate the survival radio with just via data, not voice. So I can get a good solid G.P.S location from a survival radio. If that's broken, I can still triangulate. Everybody in the formation can kind of go out and do kind of what you guys do with the HTS pod and triangulate and find, via ellipses where the person's at on the ground and still find them. We can hang around long enough in the battle space to, do all this stuff while integrating with all the other assets that are out there. And we've got all the radios and equipment and everything for it. Nobody else really does that. The few times that they've tried to do it with other platforms, it just doesn't really work out too well. The HA60 community, great dudes that are really good at what they do, but because you're flying at 50 feet, you can't really talk to everybody. You can't be an effective mission commander of a force package if you can't talk to everyone. And when you're that low, communication is pretty tough. HC-130s, yeah, maybe, but they're pretty slow. They're not going to be able to go, over the fence and see what they can see without, being at a huge risk, just because they're slow and vulnerable, and they don't really have any offensive or too many defensive weapons available to them. 10 years ago, when the A-10 was first slated to go away, they did do, at the 422 at Nellis, they did start doing some science experiments, if you will, about who would be the best platform to take the Sandy role. And the two that I am at least currently aware of, it was Vipers and it was Strike Eagles. And I think most people initially thought that the Strike Eagle would be better because you got two people, you got a lot more gas, more legs, you can, integrate and talk to everybody, you got more firepower. But my understanding, without getting into too many details, is that the Viper actually performed better. I think some of that had to do with the division of labor in that airplane, but it basically took 8 Vipers rotating through, the various Sandy rolls, just based off of loiter time, to be as effective as 4 A-10s in the CSAR roll. And so, yeah, that's just really all I'm asking for the Air Force, is to have an honest discussion of, okay, who's going to take the mantle of this? And if nobody is the answer, then is that a risk that people are willing to accept, that the taxpayer is willing to accept, that fighter pilots are willing to accept, because, it's going to be that much more difficult to get picked up behind enemy lines. I've seen various things in the news about from senior Air Force leaders kind of alluding to the fact that the CSAR mission may now be too risky just with the current threat lowdown and everything like that. And I mean,
don't get
like
shot down.
Yeah, don't get shot down. We'll send you. I think the solution, the shortest answer is we'll send you a rocket pack or an Iron Man suit or something.
Right.
We'll send on a little hypersonic missile package, and you just strap that on, and you can effect your own rescue that way. But this is a mission that was kind of born in the fires of Vietnam, and there a lot of lessons were learned in blood. And between that and the CAS mission, I think a lot of expertise is going to get lost, and you're just going to have to pay for those lessons in blood all over again if nobody retains that knowledge in the culture and the community here.
I got two things real quick. I'm going to say what you didn't say, which is surprising. That the Viper obviously performed better. But I mean, a Strike Eagle, twice the people, half the SA. That is a divisor. So I said it, and it's out there. But also, again, this is why I have a master's degree. Is we're hearing about the A-10 and survivability, 0.9 Mach, yada, 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 got to go fast. We've also talked about the next generation air dominance fighter. So I propose we get the Army involved in the development of the next generation air dominance fighter, where Paco said they're all going to be tailless. We know they'll put a tail on it because just like the F-35, we didn't need a canopy bow, but we got a fifth-gen fighter that can do helicopter things. And now you got a canopy bow. So they'll just do something, just completely bastardize NGAD, and, it'll do the A-10 mission. So there you go. Problem solved.
And, Satan, I know you didn't do this on purpose, but you're talking to 3 original F-16 guys who pride themselves on being able to do multiple roles. And then hearing that the F-16 could handle Sandy, I was like, yes, like my F-16 heart was was overflowing.